Hi there, my name is Dr. Eileen McCabe-Moucher, and I am your professor this semester here at Human Behavior and the Social Environment 1 at Widener University. I've created this short video to help orient you to our online class, but most importantly to let you know that I am here to help you be successful in the course. So if you have any questions or concerns about our course, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. So here we are in our Engage platform in our course classroom here, and the first thing that I highly recommend that you do is to carefully peruse all of these links that are located underneath the Getting Started subtitle here. The first thing that I recommend that you take a look at is the items that you'll find underneath Start the Course. I definitely recommend that you peruse the syllabus and reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns about anything related to the syllabus. Also recommend that you take a look at our course schedule and when the work is due. So as a general rule of thumb, your original discussion board postings are due on Thursdays by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and your follow-up postings to your colleagues are due on Sundays by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your quizzes, as well as your older adults assignments, are all due on Sundays by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless otherwise noted. So the next thing that I highly recommend that you take a look at are all of the items that are located underneath the Communications and Community subtitle here. I'll be sending out weekly announcements with a video with some tips and strategies for success in the class. You'll also find here our Student Lounge, which is a great place for you to interact with each other, get to know some of your colleagues, get support around our class, maybe even form a study group if you'd like to do that. I know that's worked out really well for some students in other classes that I've taught here at Widener. You'll also find that Ask the Instructor page here. So this is a place where you could ask me a question if you think this question pertains or would be helpful for your colleagues in our classroom as well. So if you have a personal question related to your grade or something that's really specific to your particular assignment, I highly recommend that you do not post it in the Ask the Instructor section and email me directly and privately. So I do check the Ask the Instructor room every day, Monday through Friday. But again, you will get a much faster response if you email me directly. So I also recommend that you take a look and familiarize yourself with these big blue button rooms here as well. The next thing that we're going to shift our focus and attention to are the major projects and assignments in our class. So we have discussion board forums that are due every week, and as I said earlier, your original postings are typically due on Thursdays by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and those follow-up response posts to your colleagues are due on Sundays by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You have 3 quizzes in this class, and the quizzes are on weeks 2, 3, and 4. Now, the next series of major assignments here are your older adult assignments. Now, these assignments I'm hoping that you're going to have a lot of fun with. They are wonderful ways to learn about the older adult population, as well as get to know some of your own research and scholarly interests. So the first thing that you want to do for step 1 is actually navigate to the requirements for this older adult interview, which must be completed before week 5. So for the older adult interview, you want to select a client, either past or present, or an acquaintance of at least age 65 years. So if you choose an acquaintance, you'd like to interview this person for approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour using the following questions that I'll review here in just a few moments as a guide to elicit information. So please feel free to adapt these questions to your own style and that of the person you're interviewing, and I encourage you to be really creative. I also urge you to preserve confidentiality, So you want to make sure that you're not using any names or other clearly identifiable information in your assignment. You also want to do everything you can to assure the adult that you're interviewing that you're going to preserve his or her confidentiality. So you want to record this interview, take notes during the interview, or summarize an account of the interview as soon as you can after you actually conduct the interview. Really important note here, for any individual participating in the interview, you must obtain written informed consent. So you will see that written informed consent document in the Engage platform, and you will need to upload the signed written consent to the appropriate assignment upload page folder that you'll see here. So during the interview, you want to ask the person to discuss in depth with you developmental stages in your life. So here are some questions that you want to make sure that you're deeply answering and addressing in the assignment. What were some important episodes and events that they recall from this stage? What was important about them? What issue were they working on? How did they feel during these stages of life? In general, how did they feel about themselves? How did they feel about others around them? And how did they feel about their environment? So you really want to think about this from an ecological perspective. You also want to elicit from your interviewee, what did they most want during these stages? What were some difficult challenges and proud accomplishments of key phases? What were external and internal resources that made it possible or impossible for them to achieve goals? How did family, groups, culture, communities, and organizations help or hinder this person in fulfilling his or her aspirations? And what contributions has this person made to society in their view? So as you see here in the Engage platform, if you click on this link here, it'll lead you directly to the older adult interview written consent form. And you also need to submit it here in the Engage platform as well. So step 2 of our older adult assignment is an older adult annotated bibliography, which is due on Sunday by week 5. You also have here a very helpful resource on comparing annotated bibliographies to literature reviews, which I highly recommend that you carefully read before you start writing your own annotated bibliography. So here we have the directions for your older adult annotated bibliography carefully outlined, and you're remembering that this assignment is worth 20% of your final grade. So using Erickson's psychosocial framework, you want to choose one of the developmental stages that you discussed at length with your interviewee. So you're remembering you can use Widener's electronic database to locate at least 4 scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles related to that developmental stage and create an annotated bibliography of these articles. So you want to make sure that the articles that you meet the following criteria. So these articles must come from a peer-reviewed journal that is related to social work. They must be less than 10 years old, and they must be at least 10 pages in length. So for each of these articles, you want to write one paragraph summarizing the main points of the article using your own words. Then you want to write a second paragraph critiquing in your own words. What were the author's conclusions, and were they biased? Why or why not? So you should have approximately 1 double-spaced page per article. And as you can see here, there is a very well-written, carefully organized, annotated bibliography rubric. So I recommend that you carefully read the rubric and make sure that you are incorporating all of the items that are required here in the rubric into your assignment, and you're reaching out to me if you have any questions or concerns at all about the assignment. So now we're going to shift our attention and awareness to step 3 of the older adult video presentation. So that is due on a Sunday during week 6 of our course. So this is worth 30% of your final grade. And the purpose of this presentation is to really integrate what you've learned about this course and about human behavior and apply this knowledge directly to your client or your acquaintance. So you're going to be applying 2 theoretical perspectives to 1 life cycle stage of your interviewee's life. So information from your annotated bibliography should be present throughout this presentation, and you're going to be using PowerPoint. And as you can see here in the Engage platform, there's a template that's provided for you. So there's really takes the guesswork out of it. So you want to use the PowerPoint to create your presentation, and then you want to record your presentation using Screencast-O-Matic. So you can narrate it for us here. So this presentation should contain and be organized according to the following components. You want to identify and apply the chosen developmental stage of Erikson's biopsychosocial theory of development to the interviewee's life narrative. And you want to make sure that you're incorporating all 3 of the following points. So number 1, you want to make sure that you're including important experiences from the developmental stage. Number 2, you want to make sure that you're addressing difficult challenges and accomplishments related to the developmental stage. And number 3, you want to make sure that you're incorporating factors and events that have facilitated and inhibited the resolution of the psychosocial crisis of that particular developmental stage. You also want to make sure that you're including biopsychosocial factors or events that may have facilitated and or inhibited the resolution of the psychosocial crisis. And again, you want to make sure that you're addressing all 3 points here. Number 1, you want to include issues, how issues of diversity and difference that are including but not limited to race, ethnicity, gender, religion, culture, age, social class, education that have shaped the interviewee's life experience. You also want to make sure that you're including how oppression may shape the interviewee's life experience. And you also definitely want to make sure that you're applying multi-systems lens to how family, community, institutions, and or larger social policy and social forces have helped, hindered, or helped the interviewee's life aspirations or opportunities. For this part of the assignment, you want to make sure that you're identifying and applying 1 additional theoretical perspective that sheds light on aspects or phases of the interviewee's life. So this additional theory does not need to be discussed in each stage of their life cycle. You are applying it to the same life cycle that you've chosen in applying that Eriksonian's biopsychosocial theory of development. You also want to make sure that you're discussing the limitations of 1 or 2 of the theories in describing the interviewee's life narrative. So each oral video presentation must be within 15 to 20 minutes long, so that's 20-minute maximum. So you want to watch the video that's embedded here for directions that shows you exactly how to record using free Screencast-O-Matic software, which I'm actually using right now to record this. And then you want to upload your video to YouTube. So there's really clear instructions in regard to how to do that. As you can see here, there's also a really carefully outlined older adult video presentation rubric that I recommend that you carefully follow. And again, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I'm here to help you be successful in the class. So now just returning to the main page here in our Engage platform, you'll see here carefully outlined week by week the student resources. So you'll see here on week 1, we're going to be covering the multidimensional foundation of social work and the person and environment theory. During week 2 of our class, we're going to take a deep dive into the person and environment interaction and the social context of the family. During week 3, we'll discuss the person and environment interaction, the psychosocial social person. During week 4, we're going to discuss and go into depth about the biological person as well as life beginnings. And during week 5 of our course, we're going to explore middle childhood as well as adolescence. During week 6, we'll cover young adulthood as well as middle adulthood. And number 7, we're going to be discussing the very important issues of older adulthood as well as death and dying. So as you can see here, we've got lots of ground to cover during our 7-week journey together. So I look forward to working with you, and I will see you very soon on our online discussion board page. Have a great week.